Hello friends, this is Worm, apologizing for the lack of content on Saturday because I was partaking in what many of you were also doing in Destiny 2. And that's right folks, today we are going to be talking about the weapon glitch. And not just the weapon glitch, but some arguments that people have that I really think as a community we should hear out and we should take seriously, okay? There's going to be some goofy tone to this, but there's also going to be a serious tone. I'm going to stop you right there, Worm, because there's a lot of y'all that watch these videos that are not subscribed. So if you are one of that 78% that is not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot, and we do talks like this every single day. All right, Worm, back to you. But yeah, how about those grenade launchers with the aggressive frames on them? I wanted to talk about what I did this weekend. You know, everybody obviously did a bunch of various things. I chose to use my time to farm Irute and Crota incredibly fast. We were getting it in less than 5 minutes to kill both bosses. So I was able to collect enough Oversoul to eventually get Necrochasm, which you see featured in this video here. But I know that a lot of players did a lot of different things. I know that a lot of players went into trials. I know a lot of players did some, triumphs that you wouldn't normally have ever done or been able to do. And I kind of wanted to talk about those things because there are a couple different groups of people that have certain feelings about this bug that happened, this glitch. These glitched weapons, the Amit that shot like a shotgun, the Rufus's Fury that shot like a shotgun, the grenade launchers that shot like shotguns. Basically, everybody was just making everything shoot like shotguns, right? Even though you could do other cool stuff. And I think that there are a lot of people who are not happy about it. And I think that the reasons why they aren't happy about it are very valid reasons. Okay. And that's kind of what I want the focus point of this video to be. Not just me, ranting about this, that, or the other. Like, I think that we should seriously take a minute to consider the PvP and the PvE players' concerns with this bug. And of course, I want to start with PvP. Because PvP, I think, has unfortunately been kind of downplayed the most, like, in trials particularly. I did play 3 or 4 games in trials, and yeah, all it was Amit shotgun spam, right? Like, it was a lot of fun. I went in to trials knowing that was what to expect, and I had my Rufus Fury shotgun ready to go. But a lot of PvP players, they're talking very negatively about this glitch. They don't like it. They say, it's not fair, blah, blah, blah. And I think that they are dead wrong when they say it's not fair. But it's not that it's not fair in the way that you think. In fact, I would say that this weekend of trials was the most fair weekend of trials existence because everybody had the potential to partake in this bug / glitch and get glitched weapons. Literally every single game I played was somebody using Amit with an aggressive frame, right? Like that was literally every single game I played. And the fact that it was so fair is what is drawing so much so many problems from the community. Okay, and I want to bring up that it's important to remember not everybody plays Destiny the same way. You have players that will play, 2 hours a week, and they'll do a couple strikes and maybe a story mission, and that's it, right? And that's totally okay. Like, if you want to play that way, that's fine. You have players that will invest literally, dozens of hours a week playing this game, doing PvE, doing all aspects, raids, GMs, dungeons, blah, 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 you name it, they do it. But you also have players who religiously play PvP, and more specifically, players who religiously play Trials of Osiris, okay? And one of the big ones that I can think of right here is Grenadier Jake. I don't think I've ever seen Grenadier Jake play any other game mode besides Trials of Osiris, right? The man lives in the Trials playlist, and he's not the only one, right? He's not the only one that lives in the Trials playlist. Like, there are literally dozens of people out there that play all day, every day on the weekends in the Trials playlist. And it seems like they are the ones that are complaining about this glitch. Or I shouldn't say complaining. They are the ones that, are having the most issues with this glitch. And I think that it's only fair that we understand where they're coming from, because I feel like their points are very, very valid. Okay. If you played in a game mode exclusively as much as you could, you got good at it, a PvP game mode, you got very, very good at it. you were amongst the best, you know, so to speak. You know, you're constantly at the top of the leaderboards, blah blah blah, and all of a sudden there's a glitch that levels the playing field, right? A straight up just glitch. And Bungie, yes, we know Bungie said it's okay, have fun with it, blah blah blah, but it completely levels the playing field so that the skill aspect is taken out of it, right? Would you be frustrated? The answer is more than likely yes. Okay, because here's the thing, like people that play in trials week in, week out, day after day, hour after hour, game after game, they're the ones that are getting that skill that they need to, you know, go flawless every time they get a card, right? Like they're the ones that are fragging out, they're getting adept drop after adept drop after adept drop. And this is not some beginner. Like this is somebody who's investing the time and resources into this game, right? This particular game mode to get good at it, right? And then Bungie, you know, they have this glitch where literally anybody and everybody can get in there and, you know, just slay out, right? I would almost say we probably have seen a record, I don't know data on this, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a record number of flawless players, not for going flawless, but a record low of like flawless completions, right? Or flawless cards that were completed, right? Because literally every game it was about who lays eyes on the enemy first, who gets the first shot off, right? There's no more skill involved with this glitch. You know, if you're running around with an Amit and your enemy's running around with an Amit, literally there's no, like, it's who sees who first, right? And I tell you this, I saw a record number of Invis Hunters when I played those 3 or 4 games of Trials. In fact, I think the last like 2 games, I know 2 games for sure that I played, literally everyone on the enemy team was a Void Hunter. I was using Void Hunter myself so that we could go Invis. Why? Because Invis allows you to get the first shot off, and when you have a gun that can kill literally in 1 bullets from across the map, that's kind of the play, you know, that's kind of the play. But you know, neither here nor there. The problem is that these players have invested a lot of time into getting, you know, exponentially good at trials, and then they can't go and use those skills because everybody is put on the same level playing field. And Trials of Osiris is not about everybody being on a level playing field. Like if you want a game where everything's on a level playing field, like go play Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty has insanely fast time to kills, but even in Call of Duty, like, you know, if you're going to use, I don't know, like a M16 versus what's another gun, M4, like what's going to win? Probably the M4. I'm pretty sure M4 has a faster time to kill in Call of Duty, right? So in Destiny 2 though, we don't have that. Like there is an element of skill involved in trials matches, in any sort of PvP, you know, activities. And this is particularly, you know, this argument I'm making here is particularly for trials. It's not so much for the quick play. Like I actually didn't partake in the quick play because I was too busy trying to do raids and get Necrochasm. But you know, for the trials playlist, like it's not a healthy thing and it's not an okay thing. And I know that there's a lot of players out there who are like, no, this is the first time I've ever been able to like get into trials and have fun. And it's like, I get where you're coming from, that like, you know, you can get into trials and have fun, but trials, and I'm going to get some smack for saying this, but trials isn't about having fun. I would say, like, if you want to have fun, you go into quick play. Like trials and the competitive playlists are more about getting a goal done. They are more about, you know, obtaining a goal. It's similar to raiding, doing the Crota's Inn raid with your friends versus getting together a flawless group. Like, a flawless run of Crota's Inn is something you're not doing for fun. Like you are taking it very, very seriously because you have an end goal. You want to get the triumph to get flawless, right? It's the same principle with a flawless card in Trials of Osiris. Like, yes, there are players who get in there and they just do it for fun. You know, hey, I win some, I lose some, I get some loot here and there. That's what I want. I want the Ingrams, blah, blah, blah. But the majority of players don't do that. The majority of players are trying to get flawless. They are trying to get in there and win those games. And so like the PvP players that are upset about the glitch, like I totally see where you're coming from. And another aspect I think is very important to remember, if this was literally any other weekend, I don't think players would have cared as much, but Igneous Hammer was the drop. And Igneous Hammer is like currently like the like premier Trials weapon. Like this is what everybody's been waiting for. Like yeah, like Cataphract is cool, but it's also a heavy weapon from Trials, and like I think most players don't care as much about Trials heavies or Trials specials as they do about Trials primaries, and Igneous Hammer is a spicy primary. And so yes, like I think that PvP players have a right, and they not only do they have a right, but they have a valid complaint about this glitch. It does level the playing field, which is not really fair in Trials. Like Trials should be more so about skill and you know, matchmaking others who are at your, you know, at your skill level, not about literally who can see who first, right? Because I mean, that's exactly how I play. Like I said, as soon as I get eyes on the enemy team, they're dead. As long as I can see them first, we will win, right? And we did. As long as I could see the enemy before they saw me, it was a win. That's not how Trials should be played. So I hear the valid complaints from the Trials players from this weekend, you know. But the other side of things is PvE players, right? And this is about the same size of crowd, but there are a bunch of PvE players out there who are upset that players are just able to, I guess, easily get like difficult triumphs done, right? Like I don't know how many posts I saw about people getting their first flawless dungeon, or not flawless dungeon, solo dungeon completion, you know, their solo flawless dungeon completions. Like I saw so many posts of people with all their different new emblems in their inventory talking about like, woohoo, like I'm so glad I was finally able to get my solo dungeon, solo flawless dungeon, all that stuff done. And it's like, yeah, like that's I'm glad for those people, but at the same time, the people that are complaining about people getting this basically for free, they have a valid argument. And I have the most perfect example of a situation that is very similar to this that Bungie took very seriously. And that is with the emblem Dazzling Iridescence. And if you don't know what that is, that was the Trials emblem that you get, or that is the Trials emblem that you will get if you are able to go flawless without trailing at all in any game. So you get a Flight of the Pigeon medal every single game. And Flight of the Pigeon basically means that you were never down by one round, right? Very, very difficult emblem to achieve, very difficult triumph to achieve. And players, they have, you know, this first weekend, due to a glitch, they just got it. I got it the first weekend, you know, and I had it on and equipped, and, you know, I did it all solo. I thought it was super cool, but Bungie disabled it. They made it so that you couldn't equip that emblem anymore unless you went out and you actually did the achievement. You actually went flawless without ever trailing the enemy team. And now we have this glitch that happened that allowed all these players to get their their solo emblems and stuff like that. And players are rightfully upset about this because so many players, myself included, which I'm not upset about it, but I went into Grasp of Avarice to get ensnared silver, that cool shader that comes from doing a flawless run. I went in and I worked my ass off to get it. Right. And I got it and I'm very excited. And it's like, it's kind of frustrating because it's like, well, I could have just waited till this glitch and I would have had it easy in like maybe 1, maybe 2 runs. Like it took me like a dozen runs before I finally got the solo flawless clear on that dungeon. And the whole dungeon itself took me like 3 hours to get done because, you know, I'm trying to play safe. I'm picking the boss's health down a little bit, you know, and it just all around, just it took a long time. So I get where players are coming from by, you know, this grievance that they have with people just being able to get it willy-nilly, no real difficulty asked. So of course, what can Bungie do about it? I think it's really, really simple. Any emblem that you get, any emblem that you got you know, through these glitched weapons things, like just disable them. Okay, just disable them so you can no longer equip them, and, you know, tell people, hey, you got to keep the loot from it, right? Like, you know, for example, like the flawless run I did whenever I got Dazzling Iridescence, that very first weekend that it launched, I got to keep the flawless weapon. I got to keep the shards that I got from going flawless. I got to keep everything else except for that one emblem, right? Because the emblem is a status symbol, like, and it was a big deal. Like, it was frustrating to not be able to have the emblem, but at the same time, I can't be frustrated because I really did not earn it, right? And it's kind of the same principle with solo, you know, with the flawless dungeons or the solo dungeons or whatever. And I think it's obviously a little bit different because, yes, in like PvE and PvP are fundamentally different, right? The issue is like, you know, if you did, even if you did the glitch and you did your dungeon solo, it's still difficult. Like, you still can't die. Like, it makes it easier to shred the bosses down, but like any encounter that's not a boss encounter, you know, that's like the Sparrow run through Grasp of Avarice, like there is still an element of skill that's required there. But I think that Bungie should take away people's emblems that got those runs with glitched weapons, and they should come out and just say, hey, you really didn't earn these the way you were supposed to, so we're going to take it away. You get to keep all the loot. You know, if you got a God Roll Ias Luna from that run, great. You get to keep it. I got to keep my flawless weapon whenever I got Dazzling Iridescence. They didn't take that away. They just took away the emblem, right? I think Bungie should just take away the emblems from people who completed things during this glitched era, and that's it, right? Take away their emblems and you know, maybe reset the triumph if you want to go that far. I think the only issue would be like, you know, with Crota's End and the Oversouls that you collect from doing triumphs, like, you know, I guess your SOL, it's not like they're gonna make, you know, make everybody delete Necrochasm or something. But yeah, I don't know. I think that both sides have valid concerns, right? And I think as a whole, like as a player base, instead of being toxic and telling people, get over it, you know, you're trash, blah, 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 because that's all I've seen. Like, all I've seen is people, you know, their response to this is, oh, like, quit whining, basically. But imagine if it was flipped. Imagine, you know, people telling PvP players, you know, or Trials players, oh, get over it. Like, it's not that big a deal. But imagine if Bungie, like, adds this really, really awesome Grandmaster Nightfall weapon, like, you know, a Nightfall weapon, and you want the Adept version really bad, but then some glitch comes out, and the glitch is like, you know what, like, none of your crafted weapons do any damage in these, or weapons just don't deal any damage, or weapons deal like 50% less damage due to a bug, and they don't have any intention on fixing it. Would you, as a PvE player, be very mad? Absolutely, because it's the week to get the weapon, the badass Nightfall weapon, and now there's this bug that's ruining it for everybody. Like you have to look at it from other people's shoes, and that's exactly what I'm doing. You know, I'm looking at it from a player, you know, who would main Trials of Osiris, so to speak. Sorry, this sun is absolutely going crazy over here. But players who play in the Trials playlist, like, I feel like they have the right to be upset, you know, and they have the right to voice their opinion without being heavily criticized. Just like PvEers have the right to complain and you know, tell their grievances to the community without being criticized as well. Like, the glitch was fun. It was great while it lasted. I had a blast. I had a blast farming Crota's End. I had a blast getting, I think I got 12 essences of the Oversoul in a matter of like 3 hours, which is insane. Okay, and I got tons of Spoils of Conquest. I was able to finally buy Legend of Acrius, which apparently I'd never got before. It was great fun while it lasted, but at the same time, we are back to reality now, you know, and when we come back to reality, not everything is gonna be the way it was before. You know, people are gonna have loot that they wouldn't normally have gotten. I'm fine with that, but when it comes to emblems and stuff like that, like, I think Bungie should lock people out. That way, those who did earn their emblems fairly and the correct way can still feel that sense of accomplishment, right? Because let's be honest, like, before this weekend, the value of, you know, I forget the name of the emblem, but the emblem that you get for doing Inspire the Watcher solo flawless, right? Like, it had a lot more value 4 days ago, you know, and now it's very undervalued. Like, I was in the tower, I saw like 8 people with it equipped. It's like, no, like, typically you don't see anybody with it equipped, and if you do, you're like, hey, wow, like, that dude, he did Inspire the Watcher solo flawless. Now everybody has it. It's lost its value. So I think that Bungie should definitely go in and disable any emblems, or I would even say, I would almost even say titles to a degree, like any titles you got, and make players have to earn those legitimately, just to make it fair across the board for everybody involved. Okay, you know, they did the exact same thing with the Trials emblem, you know, and I don't hear people fussing about that. You know, I mean, you didn't earn it legit. You don't deserve it. If you didn't earn your you know, flawless dungeon emblem legit, you don't deserve it. Okay, you don't deserve it. Go in there, do the dungeon like for real, flawless, without glitched weapons. Because here's the thing: if you can do it without, if you can do it with a glitched weapon, you can do it without. It's just gonna take longer. you know, and I know that that's the argument. People say, well, why not just let people keep it? But again, Destiny is a game about not just loot, but it's about time commitment. You know, it's about time commitment. Like those who have the time to put into doing a flawless raid, they deserve the shaders that they get from doing that flawless raid, right? You know, do Volta Glass, flawless. Yes, it's a short duration, but the effort that you have to put in, the team play that you have to do, like all these things, they add up. That's why people don't go for these triumphs. That's why people don't try to do solo flawless. I know that you can. If you got a solo flawless emblem this weekend with glitched weapons, I know you can do it without. I know you can. Like Worm has no doubt in his heart that you can do it solo flawless without glitched weapons. The thing is, you just have to invest the time into getting it, right? But look, this video has been like 20 minutes long. I don't know. I think that people that have been complaining about what's been going on, I think they have every right to do so, and their complaints are valid. You know, their grievances are 100% valid, but I want to hear your thoughts on it. Like, what are your thoughts with the glitch? I'm sure that everybody watching this probably had a glitched weapon. They were a lot of fun. There's no doubt in my heart, in my mind, sorry, that it was a lot of fun. God, this sun is driving me absolutely crazy. No doubt in my mind that it was a lot of fun this weekend with all these glitched weapons, but we're back to reality now. And I do think that Bungie should take away some of the emblems and some of maybe the titles and stuff. Really just cosmetic things, not any actual loot. You know, let everybody keep the loot that they got, but taking away everything else, I think is a fair play for Bungie to do. But like I said, I want to hear your thoughts on it. You know, which weapons did you enjoy the most? What do you think about what I've said today? Because I've said some controversial things that not a lot of people are going to like. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Of course, if you like today's video, drop a like. It helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content. And do me a favor, watch the video you see on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks that you will like them. Guys, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye for now.